హలో వినిపిస్తుందిగా? ఓకే ఫైన్. So hi guys, warm welcome to everyone. So in today's session we are going to discuss about JavaScript. So basically JavaScript is nothing but it is a scripting language, and usually it is used to perform client-side validations. So I will take you through a presentation wherein we will see few of the examples and basic syntax and what are the expressions or operators, whatever we follow in JavaScript, I'll show you in today's session. So it would be a kind of introduction to JavaScript. So I hope you are able to see my screen now. Okay, that's great. So we will start with JavaScript today. So JavaScript is nothing but it was designed to add interactive to HTML pages. So basically it is a scripting language, and usually we call it as a lightweight programming language. So why is it called as a lightweight programming language? So because it occupies less memory, and also it is very easy to understand. So we call it as a lightweight programming language. And basically JavaScript consists of lines of executable computer code. Like it is very easy to understand, and the syntaxes, the variables, so all are very user friendly. And usually we can embed JavaScript into HTML directly. That is, if you have a prior knowledge of HTML, so you can easily understand JavaScript. And JavaScript is also an interpreted language. So interpreted language means the scripts execute without preliminary compilation. So what does preliminary compilation means? If you take a Java program, usually to compile, so you need to first compile it and then you will execute it. Like, so I have a Java program. So basically what I'll do is, so while compiling, I will write as Java C and my sample program, and then we have the Java, right? So this is so whatever. So this is what we're doing usually. So when I come to JavaScript, we don't have anything such called as prior compilation. So and everyone can use JavaScript without purchasing a license. So it is free to use. And so we'll come to the uses of JavaScript now. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, JavaScript is usually used for validating forms. So apart from that, you can also use to improve the design of your page, and you can detect the browsers, or you can create some cookies too. And you can do much more with JavaScript. So JavaScript is nothing but it is the most popular scripting language, so which is used on the internet, and usually it will work with all the major browsers. Like you can use it with Chrome, you can use it with Internet Explorer, you can use it with Mozilla Firefox, so you can use it Opera too, and Netscape also. So people confuse with Java and JavaScript. So let us try to understand, are Java and JavaScript both are same or not? So the answer is strictly no. Why? Because okay, Java and JavaScript, if you take this to compare, so both are different. Java is a language where we will focus more on functionality. So if you are talking about JavaScript, so both will be completely different in concept or either in design. So usually Java, you know that Java was developed by Sun Microsystem, and it is much more complex programming language. Where when we talk about JavaScript, it is a lightweight programming language. So Java is much like you can say like C and C++. So let us try to understand how you will encode your JavaScript code. And as I mentioned earlier, we will embed our JavaScript code into HTML page. So let us take a basic example and try to understand what we are exactly doing here. So you can see here HTML tag, just an example, try to understand here. We will compile and run also the same. So I'm just putting my script tag. So basically, what we do is we will embed our JavaScript using a script tag and we will place it into the body. So I'll just give you an example. We'll try to do it here. So let me write a program first. So okay. So consider my HTML program. We know that HTML is having head and body. Okay. Okay. So this is my body tag. So basically, this is our basic HTML code. So what I want to do here is I want to include JavaScript here. So what I'll do is I'll just include a script tag. So what we have called as attribute as type. So we have a script type which is called as text/JavaScript. Okay. So and you have to close the script tag. So basically what I'm trying to include here is I'm including a script tag and I'm including an attribute here, type is equal to text/JavaScript. And we also have one more attribute. You can also put in here as language is equal to JavaScript, but it is not mandatory. So people do use it, but this is not quite mandatory. You can just put simply as type is equal to text/JavaScript, and you can run your program. And the main thing I want to tell you is like this script tag, you can include either in your head section or you can just include it in your body section of your HTML tags. So it will be something like this. So both are valid. And these are the two ways which you can include your JavaScript code. So this tells the web page that this is a JavaScript program. So usually you will save this one. Okay, suppose this is my sample program. Okay. So this is my sample program and I will save it as html.html. So some output should be displayed, right? So for that purpose, I am using here, you can use document.write. Okay. So like this is my first program or something. Okay. This is how basically your program looks like. And suppose I want to call my JavaScript file like some external source. So I don't want to write my JavaScript in this HTML, but I want to call some other JavaScript file into my source code. So we will simply like include a attribute that is src, what we call as source. So through that src I can call my Java file, whatever like sample.js or something. So I can usually call by including an attribute called source. So we will see example basically how it will be. So this is you can see here. So this is a simple HTML program wherein I have just put my script type is equal to text/JavaScript. I have included it in my body section. And I have just given a document.write and hello world. So let us try to execute the same code once. Okay. I'll just change it. Okay, so let us try to understand more, like control S. So sample.html. So it should give me now hello world or as my output. So next is the same example. See here, I have included a JavaScript in external file. So as I mentioned, we will use a source attribute. So I'll be being like script type is equal to text-based JavaScript, and I will include another attribute like src, and I will include the file name wherein my Java file is stored. That is, you can include this script type either in your head section or your body section. So this would be your JavaScript in external file. So there are three ways in which you will declare your script type. That is either in an external file to indicate, or you can put it in your body section, or you can either put it in your head section. Next, let's try to understand. Okay, so there are semantics, like we will follow certain, if you go to Java or you go to C or C++, basically when you are writing a program, you will end up with a semicolon. So this is the traditional programming thing, what we do. So you might think like in JavaScript is also we should end up a statement with semicolon. But if you see a previous example, I have not used here semicolon anywhere. So that is optional in JavaScript. But if you want to include two lines of statements in the same, two statements in the same line, so we can usually place semicolon. So we can see here. So with traditional programming languages like C++ and Java, each code statement has to end with a semicolon. So many programmers continue this habit when writing JavaScript, but in general, semicolons are optional here. So however, semicolons are required if you want to put more than one statement on a single line. So, okay, like even if you go to C, C++ or Java, we have something called as variables. So in JavaScript also we have something called as variables. So variables are nothing but you will use it to store some data. So for example, like I have some data. So I'll just give an example basic. Let's try to understand what is a variable. So some x value, x is equal to 5. Suppose this is my variable x. So what it is trying to do is, it will store a value like 5. So here 5 is an integer. So it could be a string. So we know something in Java, we have a concept called as data types. Like wherein we have int, and we have float, we have double, we have string, character. So these kind of data types we have in Java, or even in C or C++, we have this concept as data types. But when you come to JavaScript, there is no such concept as data types. Indeed, we usually have something called as a keyword where var. So usually it represents variable, and you can store any kind of variables. So it could be integer, it could be character, and usually strings. If you're using a character or strings, you have to enclose them in a single quotes, or you can use them in double quotes. So basically both are same. So this is how data types. So we don't have any concept called as data type, but I will use the same variable for storing all type of data types. So I can store a float value, I can store a integer value. So I can store like this 20.5. I can have something called as var y is equal to 10, some integer value. So single character also I can store in it, like var y is equal to a small k. Okay, this is a single character. So as such, I can store multiple values, and this is how we don't have a data type concept here. But usually a variable is nothing but it will store data. So you can see here, variable is a container for information you want to store. So a variable's value can change during the script, and you can refer to a variable by name to say its value or change its value. So usually we will just give it a variable a name. So there are certain rules for variables also. So whenever we are declaring variables, these are those names are case sensitive. So that means like if I am writing str name, so if you can see the example here, it says if I'm using str name and if I'm using caps lock str name in caps, so they are both not same. So it will specify a different variable altogether and just one more variables. So they don't specify a same variables. So like that. So they have to be case sensitive and they must begin with a letter, or you can also use underscore. So now we have something called as operators. So JavaScript operators. So we will discuss them in detail. So I think there are no doubts now. Okay. So basically JavaScript operators. So we have the first operator is arithmetic operators. So basically arithmetic operators are nothing but like basic functionality. So in any programming or any real life world, we have to perform some operations like based on this variables itself. Like if I take my variables like var x is equal to 5. Okay. Suppose my variable is var x is 5 and y is some value. Okay, 10. So basically in some scenarios we need to perform some operations, like we have to perform some multiplication, we have to perform the division, or we need to add two numbers. So to perform those operations we are having certain operators. So those are nothing but arithmetic. Like arithmetic in the sense we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and we can perform modulus, and we can also have increment and decrement operators. So we should always remember these operators are called as arithmetic. Why? Because they are performing some arithmetic operations like addition and subtractions. So you can see here these are the operators and the symbols. So let me zoom in. Okay, so you can see here this is the first operator plus. So you basically know it is for addition. And let us take an example here. So x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2. So if you want to perform x plus y, the result will be 4. So similarly subtraction. So basically I am explaining each and every example. X is equal to 5, and if we consider y value as 2, and if I perform the same operation, the result will be 3. 5 minus 2 will be 3. And multiplication, so x, y and y value is 4. If I am performing multiplication, you will get out as 20. So as such, you will be having division and modulus. So the basic difference between division and modulus operator is, division if you perform like 15 divided by 5, result will be 5 3 is 15. So it will be giving you the result as 3. So but if you take the same operation, I mean the same thing into modulus, like modulus will give you a reminder. Whenever you perform division, you will have some leftover reminder. So basically it will give you the reminder. So there is a difference between division and modulus. So you can see here an example. If you are having 5 modulus 2, so it is giving me result as 1. So similarly in because 2 2 is 4 and you will be left with 1 as remainder. So that is what a modulus is doing here. So apart from that, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus, we have something called as increment and decrement operator. So what exactly increment and decrement operators are doing? So let us try to understand. Suppose x value is 5 or 6. Okay, 5. So I want to perform some operation which is called as increment operator. So I am keeping it as x plus plus. So what exactly it should do is, it should give me, it will increment x value with 1. That is, it will be x plus 1. So that again will give you result as 5 plus 1, that is nothing. So my value will be 6. And same, we have something called as decrement operator. So if I am taking the same concept, x is equal to 5 and okay, so this is my value and I am using something called as decrement operator. Okay, so x minus minus. So what happens is, if you use it with something like x minus 1, and here the output would be something like this. So it will be 5 minus 1. So it will give me result as 4. So in this increment and decrement also we have something called as increment and post increment. So we will discuss something like this. The values will be something like this, plus plus x. So basically what post increment will do is, so okay, so this what we have seen is x plus plus, it is, so basically what happens here is plus plus x is pre-increment. So first it will increment the values and then it will assign. And initially the value itself will become x plus 1 and it will be 6 initially. So again you will have a clear understanding when you will do programs. So for now you just remember the symbol what I am trying to do. This is pre-increment and this is post-increment. So try to understand, that's it. So when you execute programs and you develop much into it, you can understand the basic difference between these. So there is not much difference. What pre-increment does is, like, it will first increment the value and then it will assign the variable. And post-increment, first will take the value as whatever the initial value is, then it will increment later. So we are just focused about the operators for now. So just remember we are having something called as increment and decrement operators. This supports in JavaScript. So this is what we have taken here. So you can see here increment x value is 5 and x plus plus. So a value became to 6 and minus minus. So x equal to 4. Now we will have another operators, that is assignment operators. So in assignment operators, usually the word itself is telling that we are assigning some value to it. So if you see here, x is equal to y. So here equal to operator is nothing but so we are assigning y value to x. So both are the same. And again, one more thing here, you have to understand these operators. So let us try to understand. Okay. So here plus equal to I am using, suppose. So what happens is, so these are my assignment. Okay. So what we are trying to, so we are having something called as plus equal to. So suppose I am taking this operator. So it will be something like we will write in our program like this, x plus equal to y. So this value will be equal to x plus y. So this expression what we are writing, x plus equal to y, is same as x is equal to x plus y. So initially you will define some x and y values and you will use this operator assignment. So it will give the same functionality like this. So basically we are having something called as minus equal to, multiplication equal to, and division equal to, okay, and we can perform modulus equal to. So something, the same expressions you can try to understand here clearly. So like x minus equal to y if I am using here, so the expression will result as x equal to, x value will be same as x minus y. So that is what we have to try to understand here. So if I am taking x into equal to y, that would be same as x equal to x multiplied by y. So x value will be equal to x multiplied by y. So same here in the case of division and modulus also. So it would be something like this. So these are my assignment operators. Apart from equal to, we are having something called as these operators. So you should be understanding here clearly. So if I am talking like x plus equal to y, it should be same as x is equal to x plus y, and so on. So this is what here I have given an example, and this is same as. Now we have something called as comparison operators. So the word itself is telling like we are comparing two values, and whenever we are comparing two values, it will give you a result as boolean. So boolean in the sense we are having only two values, that is either it will return you as true or either it will give you result as false. So let us in detail what are the comparison operators. So the first comparison is equal to. So equal to is nothing but when I am having two values, like here in example if you see 5 equal to 8. So both values are different. So it should return false. And we have something called as which triple equals to. Like so suppose like I have something like 6 equals to 6. So it is just checking me the values, like this value is 6 and this value is 6. It will return me as true as my result. And the same here, if I have 6 equals to 8, then it will definitely return me false as my boolean value. Okay. Now we have something called as equal three equals operator. That is suppose 8 equals to 8. So what exactly these operator will do is it will check your value and also the data is equal to, but it will check for both value and type. So you can see an example, like if I am taking x is 5 and y as here 5, but you see your difference is like so okay, so let us take what we were doing. So I am taking x value as something called 5 or 6, whatever, and one more I have taken a variable, another variable, like x value is 6. So don't get confused here. So what I'm trying to tell you is here, like x is 6. This is an integer. But if you take the same here, y is 6. It is a character data type. But values, if you see, this is 6 and this is also 6. So when you talk in terms of value, both are same. Okay, they are same, and there is no problem. But if you talk about the type, that is what we call it as a data type. So these are different. So it will throw you as, so whenever you are giving like x equal to 5 and you're checking for this one like x equal to y. So what it will throw you, it will definitely throw you as false. So this is what is happening here. And so this is what you can see here, x equal to 5 and y equal to 5. So when I take x equal to y, it will return me true. Why? Because the values are same. But when I am taking the same here, equals to operator, that is equal to itself, the second case, it will return me as false. And we have something called as not equal to. No, basically 5 not equal to 8. If you take your example, definitely it will show me output as true. So apart from that, we are having some comparisons, like you should be very well aware of it, like greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So these things we will be using in operators. So if you want, you can go through these examples, like 5 not equal to 8 is true, 5 greater than 8, obviously it's false. And if you are taking 5 less than 8, so it will return me true. And if you take 5 greater than or equal to 8, it will false. And 5 less than or equal to 8, definitely it will return true. Why? Because it is less than and equal to. So any one condition is less than or equal to. Next we have something called as logical operators. So logical operators is nothing but, we have some cases you have to understand, like and, or, and not. So these are logical operators. So in any programming language we have the same. So the symbols are this one, ampersand symbol, we have this twice. That is and x equal to 6. So if you are taking this x is 6 and y as 3 and I am performing some operations like x is less than 10. X is less than 10 and y is greater than 1. So let us take this example, the same example. Okay, so what we are trying to do here is like x value is 6 and we have something y value, and what we can take the same example like here y value is 3. So what we are trying to check now, x value is less than 10 and y value is greater than 1. Less than 10, this is my one condition and I am using ampersand, and y is greater than 1. So you can check here, x is less than 10, what is x value? X value is 6. So it is 6 less than 10. So it is x 6 less than 10 is true. So true. And one more we are having and. Here never forget, and will have to satisfy both the conditions. So we will check like y value is greater than 1, that is 3 is greater than 1. So again we are having something known as this is true and this is also 3 is greater than 1 is correct. So obviously it is also true. So both conditions are satisfied. So it will give me true. So the condition is true. So like that. So it will perform those operations. And we have something called as OR. So OR itself says that either this condition, so suppose I am taking like this, or, okay, so I have something like y less than 1. So 3 is less than, so the same thing, I am just changing here operator, like I am taking condition like x should be less than 10 or y is less than 1. So here what happens, ultimately 3 is less than 1 is false, but is less than 10 is true. So one statement is true and another statement is false. But what I am using here, I am using a OR condition. So any of the statements is true. So obviously my output should also be true. This is what. So any of the conditions satisfied, it should give me true. And okay, next we will try to understand not operator. Is false. So when I am using not here, so it will give me true value. True is the output. So next we have something called as comments in JavaScript. So basically comments are nothing but to make your code very readable. So we will use the comments here. So in JavaScript we are having two types of comments. So one is called a single line comment, that is suppose I have written my code. So why usually we use comments is like I am a developer and I have written some code. So basically some other developer is going to work in future. So for him to understand what exactly I have done, so I have to use comments. So basically it is to create more readable, to create more readability in your, so basically for that purpose. So if you see, we are having two types of comment, as I told. Single line comment in the sense itself, it is telling like whenever we want to mention lines on a single line, one line, so we will use this symbol, double slash. And when I want to put my comments in multiple lines, so I will usually use slash followed by an, and then I will state my comments, and then again close with the same thing like star and slash. So these are the two comments which usually we use in JavaScript. So next we have some display possibilities. So how we will display our JavaScript. So we have to try to understand this very clearly. Why? Because So far in our previous example, we have used document.write. So to display output on my browser. So if you want, I can take you to that once again. Okay, we can go to the previous example, sample.html. So you can see for output, I have used something called as document.write. So to display hello world. In my art purpose also, we are having certain things we should understand. Okay, here. So instead of document.write, so we can use inner HTML also. So inner HTML is one thing we can use for displaying. So it is usually used for writing into HTML elements. And if you are using document.write, it will write into HTML output screen. So what here I am trying to understand here, trying to tell you is inner HTML you can write into HTML elements. So basically I have a HTML document. Suppose I want to change my content in HTML, I will use inner HTML. So by using inner HTML, I am going to change the content of my HTML document itself. So I will show you an example wherein we will discuss these things in detail. So just try to understand, we are changing content through inner HTML, and when I am using document.write, I will just display output into my HTML. And when I am using window.alert function, so usually it will give me output in an alert box. And there is something called as console log. So this one usually will display your output in your browser console. So when I am talking about browser, you should remember about Mozilla, Internet, so all those kind of browsers. So see them in detail. So let us try to understand basic examples in Java. So as I mentioned earlier, we will have something enclosed in script tags. So you can format the script tags basically using HTML codes. Like you can use some headings, anything, HTML content you can use to develop more into your code. Okay. So now let us try to understand a simple alert thing. Okay. So as I told, this is also one of the display possibilities in JavaScript. So let us try to write an example. So instead of document.write, I will simply place here alert. So let us save it and then run it. Okay. So you can see here, this is alert box. So in previous example, you saw the output here like hello world. But in this time, you will see this page is saying you hello world. So this is alert. So alert usually have to click on OK so that you can accept it. So this is how alert will be displayed. Okay. So this is how this is a basic example we have taken for alert, and you can use for document.write also. Okay, now we will see further examples. Okay, so I have taken here one more example wherein I have taken a variable and I'm storing something called as hello world, and I'm just using a document.write and I'm displaying the variable here. I'm not writing directly on my console, I am indeed using a variable here. So we can do as such also. So let us try it. We can take the same code. Okay. So I'm just changing. I'll put my HTML body, everything same. I'm just changing my script here. So I'll just including x variable, and then I'm printing a document.write as x. And that's it. We are doing it, and we will run the program now. Sorry. So that's what you got a hello world. So usually we haven't written anything in document.world, but we were able to display the variable. Okay, and Next we are doing, suppose I have a variable like x and I am having welcome to class, and I want to add this variable to some content in my document.write. So I can do that even. So for example, suppose my variable is like, okay, how are you? Okay, so first I am just keeping something like this, and I want to ask someone. So I want to include, hey Anil, okay. Then I want to ask him this question. So I am just including my variable, and then I will just save this. So it should display me, how are you? Hey Anil, how are you? So because first it will display this, and then it will add you, because you are adding the variable next to your this statement. So we can simply check it. So this is displaying me, hey Anil, how are you? So next is, we are having pop-up boxes. So as I mentioned, we can use alert box. So basically alert box is often used if you want to make sure information comes through. So it is user, whether it is true or not, whether you want to check what information a user is getting. So basically for that purpose you will be using alert box, and when an alert box pops up, the user will have to click OK, as we have seen in earlier example, right? So we have clicked on OK to proceed further. So next we have something called as confirm box also. So instead of it will be same case. So we can take the same example. So instead of document.write, we can take something called as confirm. I'll just remove my variable for now. So this is what. So here you will have, this is a confirm box. As I have used the confirm, you have seen there. So I just seem like alert box, but in alert you don't have a cancel button. So for further proceeding in alert, you will just have a OK button, and you'll just click on that OK to proceed further. But this is a confirm box wherein you have a OK button. Either you can cancel here. So I can say click OK. So this is what a difference is between confirm and alert box. So a confirm box is often used if you want the user to verify or accept something. So I just want to accept, I will just click on OK. If I don't want to, I'll just click on the confirm box pops up. The user have to click either OK or cancel to proceed. So if the user clicks OK, the box returns true. So if I click on cancel, it will definitely give me a false. And we have something called as prompt box. So this is also one of the pop-up boxes in JavaScript. So basic difference between prompt box is like, suppose user initially want to enter some value. So I mean some variable I have defined in my program X, and it should have some initial value before I proceed to my program. So in that case, I will use a prompt box. So it will prompt the user to enter some values or to perform some actions. So we will see an example in that scenario also. Okay, so basically OK, or you will have to click the cancel to proceed after entering an input value. So if the user clicks OK, the box will return the input value. Otherwise, if they cancel, usually here when you click cancel, the box will return you a null value, that will be 0. So we'll see an example. So I'll just take a basic example. We will do with the same program. I think I'm connected. Okay. So we will take the same example. Okay. what I am doing is I have included a variable where x I am taking like x value. The it should prompt the user that the browser should tell me enter some value. So I am just giving something like enter roll number here. So it will throw an error with these quotations. So I'm just changing it. Nothing more to add. Okay, so it will prompt the user to enter some roll number, and then it will write something like it should display me Anil's roll number is something. Okay. Okay. So alright, so we will execute this program now and we will check it. So here you can see it is displaying me a prompt like wherein I have to user needs to enter some roll number. So suppose I enter value 10. So I'll just click on OK. So it is displaying me here like whatever we have put in document dot write the statement, like I have put in as Anil's roll number, and I have included a break tag, so it is giving me the value displayed in the next line. So if I don't want the break tag, it will display in the same. So here we have entered 10, so it is giving me 10. So if you give no value, it will just give cancel. So usually it will take a null value, that is 0. So that's what about the prompt works. So now we have something called as JavaScript example. We will basic arithmetic operations I am taking here. So initially I have included x is equal to 3 here, and I am performing some calculations like arithmetic calculations. We can take an example like 20 into x plus 12, and we can try doing to put this value of y into alert. So we can execute this one if we want. We'll just modify our program and do it. Alright, so see here, this is what we are doing. We are just based on our requirement, we can do anything. So next is like I have just performed here a calculation. So one of the arithmetic operations wherein I have taken two variables like s1 and s2, and I have given some values to it. Initial values as 12 and to s2 I have given as 28, and then I have performed a result like s1 plus s2. We are doing some addition if, and we are displaying some result. So it will give me something output like addition is, and it will add these two values and it will give me res. So here in document we are trying to do, in earlier case we have performed the operations and we have given the output in alert, okay, as a alert, you can say alert box. And in this case if we are using document.write, definitely it will give me output in HTML screen, right? So that is the difference. So if you want, you can check it out. I think we have performed many operations using document.write. Okay. I think so. It is not accepting those parentheses. So just refresh. So you can see here document.write will display your output as addition 40. Now, if we have go more deeper, you can perform your all the arithmetic operations, and you can try this example. Like if you take s1 is some value s2, and you can perform some difference. You can perform multiplication, division, modulus, and you can do document.write, and you can show your results, and you can display your variables of this. I mean some difference, multiplication, and you can create some alerts to it, and you can try those programs. So apart from this, we are having something called as conditional statements. So before I jump into conditional statements, I want to tell you, so far we have covered, so display possibilities. I want you to be perfect in that. So let me go to it. So we know about the prompt blocker, display possibilities. So we will take an example now of inner HTML to get a clear understanding of what it does. So till now we have seen about document.write. So you have seen that how it writes HTML output, and we have seen about windows.alert. So how it will give you an alert box, and in that we have something called as prompt box, we have confirm box, and we have seen the basic differences. So now we will discuss inner HTML in detail, and I also want to discuss the console log. So what exactly this console log is doing? So here, usually console log is nothing but it will display your output in browser's console. So we will try to understand how we will display our output in browser console. So I'll just give you an example. We will take a basic example. Okay, I'll just take the same example in the suppose apart from this, I mean, let's remove the variable and try to understand first. Okay, so I'm using here console.log. Okay, and I want to give something like hello world. Okay, basic example. Let's try to understand where the output is being first displayed. So I want to add much. So I'm just saving it. So as I mentioned, we will just we have to include what script type is equal to text/javascript. Okay. So I think we have included everything, and we have closed the script tag, and we have just displaying our console.log, so which will display in browser's console. So I'm saving it. Now I will again execute it. Oh, so you might be wondering where the output is, right? But because we have seen in earlier case we got the output on the screen, but here we didn't get the output. So what you have to do is just click on Control Shift J, and you will see Control Shift and J. So let me write it down. Press Control button and Shift and J letter. Okay, this is a letter. So when you the browser's console, so you can see here this is the console of Google. So I have opened in Chrome. So you can try the same thing. It will open in Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer. Okay, so here you will see your output here. It's displayed in browser's console. So that's what here console.log will do it. So it will simply display the output in your browser's console. So apart from that, we are having inner HTML. I think still connecting. Okay. We have something called as inner HTML too. So we will try to understand what exactly inner HTML will do. So we will take a basic example for it. So I'll write a program now, a new one. Okay. So basically, our HTML document. We have a head section, okay, and we have a body, and we have to close the HTML tag. So in this, suppose I am taking a normal basic HTML document. So I am creating a header. I want to create a heading first. Like this is a sample. This is okay. I'll just put like example to what we are trying to do here in our HTML. Okay. So I'll just put like this, and I want to do is a paragraph. Alright, so I have a paragraph, and in that I have some content like okay, this is a paragraph, or paragraph, just paragraph. Okay, so some content. So this is my basic HTML. So what I am trying to do using inner HTML is I will change the content of my HTML. So suppose I want to change the content in this paragraph. So basically I will use a method like getElementById. So that method which we have, it will definitely get the elements in HTML using some attribute, that is ID. So we have to include an attribute called as ID equal to something. Like I can give some here like demo. So I am giving a ID here through which I can retrieve this paragraph, okay, or a HTML element in my JavaScript. I mean, I'll just write a script code so that for your better understanding. Okay. We'll use a script, and we have basically we have type is equal to text/javascript. Okay, so what I told is like we have something called as okay, first thing is like when this needs to be called, some event should occur, right? So I will have something called as a button. I want to create a button. First I want to give a button, so I will put like type is equal to button. Okay, so button type is button, and we have something like on click. So when this event occurs, it should call my function. So we will write a function now. Suppose my function name is my function. And I want to put something called as try it. So again that's it. So we will just close our button. Okay. So first thing we have to write some function. So we will just define our function. Okay. So in this, now I am going to write the main method which I am going to use. So you can see here like I am using document dot get element by ID. So usually this method you have to always follow some. I mean this is a method which will use to retrieve the element ID. So whatever the ID I am using here, I'll be using that ID as one of this. Like ID should be demo. So I'll call it through that. So I'm calling the HTML element by ID. So I'm getting that element HTML element by ID. So it is clearly specifying that. Okay. So function, my function, in that we are calling this, and what we are trying to do is, so whenever a user clicks on this function, it should change the paragraph to whatever the content we are giving here. So we have something called as inner HTML. Okay. Now I have to give some paragraph. Okay, so let me check once again. So let me save it. So if you see here, what we are trying to do is on click my function, right? Click my function. Okay, let me try one more time. So basically, just remove this content. Oh, paragraph change. Where is my script? Closed. So this is how. Okay. So you can see here we just missed close script tag. So basically what we are trying to do is, like, I'm creating a function. So in that we are having something called as get element by ID method, through which we will call the elements in HTML. This is a paragraph is an element in HTML. So basically I am calling it through a ID. So that ID I will be using here. So you can give any ID here. You can give anything, ASK or anything. So that ID we will call it here, and then through HTML. So I'm getting like example to inner HTML, and then I got a paragraph, I got a button. Or I click on this, content has to be changed. 1 second. Graph changed. in my function demo in HTML. Sorry. Let me try like this. Okay, so we have to give equal to here. I just missed here. So in our HTML, and we'll just give the whatever the paragraph we want to change to, we can give it like. And in our HTML, one of the display options. Okay, and okay, so these are the display possibilities we have seen depth in our HTML, through which we can change the HTML element and document.write. It will write into HTML output, and alert as usual. We have seen alerts, it will prompt you, and in that we are having some certain pop-up boxes, differences like confirm box, and we are having some prompt box. So and in that, apart from that, we have seen something called as console log, and you will have seen how by pressing Ctrl Shift and J, you will display your output in browser console. So now we will go through something called as okay. We will perform some kind of actions. So you will use some conditional statements. So in JavaScript, we are having the following conditional statements. So they are like if statement and if else, if else, if else. So that is nothing but we can have many if else statements. So we also have something called as switch statement. So first we will talk about if statement. So use this statement if you want to execute some code. So if x is true, like if my x value is 5, then you have to some options. So suppose this is for okay. So there has to be some statements. Okay, some statements that needs to be executed. So like that. So if this is true, you will execute statement 1, but if it is false, it will go to the else block and it will execute those statements. So that is about if else. So you can see here in JavaScript we have the following conditional statements. So if statement, use this statement if you want to execute some code only if a specified condition is true. So if else statement will do, use this statement if you want to execute same code if the condition is true, and another code if condition is false. Now we have if else statement. So nothing but it is trying to tell you can include how many ever if else statements you want. So use these statements if you want to select one of many blocks of code to be executed. Okay, now we have something called as switch statement. So you have to understand this in detail. So what exactly is you want to select one of many blocks of code to execute it. So usually what switch statement does is like we have certain cases. So usually I'll just give you a brief idea here. So some value will be there and we will have some kind of case one, okay, some statements, set of statements, okay, and we will have case two, okay, and in that also we will be having certain statements, okay, and like that n number of cases. So like that we will be having n number of cases. So based on the case, the criteria, we will those statements will only be executed like that. And also apart from these, we will be having something called as default statement. So whenever these conditions, no conditions will met, so these default statements needs to be executed. So that is all about the switch statement. So something like this is fine. So usually if you want an example for switch statements, you can take something like in calendar we have like we have 12 months. So we can take like MNO is equal to fifth month, and you can put some statements like this month is February, this month is January, like that. You can see an example to it and try it. Okay, so based on the which month it meets, so it will, those case will be executed. If no statement meets, it will execute the default statement. So this is about, so switch statement, usually use this statement if you want to select one of many blocks of codes to be executed. Next we have this, you can see here they have given you syntaxes. So basically if you will have this and then the code to be executed if the condition is true. So this is the syntax for if, and if you are using if else, so obviously it will be if condition is satisfied, it will be code to be executed is followed, else it will go to the next condition. So similarly, you can see an example, okay, basic example for if else. We will take the same code, or we can do one thing. So we can add here itself. Okay. No. Okay. So never forget to include the type equal to text/JavaScript. Okay. So basically we have taken x value as 3, and if x is less than 0, so what here it will check for the conditions. If 3 is less than 0, it will alert you as negative, else it will alert you as positive. positive. Okay. So, okay. So we are having something called as conditional statements. So as I told you, there is one more example. In this we are using something called as conf, and usually we are storing it in a variable C, and from 12, if it is 12, then it will alert you as it's December, else it will tell you some message. You can give something messages. So this is one more example, if else. Now, okay, the same here goes with, we have used a script tag and we are using a prompt here. So usually it will ask you, it will prompt you to enter some value. As we have seen, prompt is basically used for user to do some actions, right? So usually user should input some value. So basically here in this example, if you see, you will be in a prompt here like which country you live in, and if you enter based on that data, the alert will be given to you. So we can try this one. I'm just changing the code. Okay, so whenever you are executing, you have to include this. Then only the browser will have a script. So usually prompt, okay. It won't accept those parentheses when copied. Okay, so just saving it. Okay, so if you enter 6 here, okay, so 06. So if we don't enter 06 also, because it is considering this character, so it has prompted me as select a valid value. So when I put in 06, it has given me the value as alert as India. That's it. So you can do many more things using conditional statements, using arithmetic operations. You can try doing match into assignment operators. So basically in today's sessions, so we have discussed about what JavaScript is, and basically the most important thing when you say about JavaScript is like you have to know that it is used for doing client-side validations. So when I say client-side validation, so before sending our data to server, so we have to perform some validation. So you can take a basic example like whenever you are logging into some account, like if you take Gmail, so I have entered a username and password, and my password is some test1234. So I'll just check out like whether it is matching or not, whatever the user is entering, so we will validate. So those kind of validations things, we will use it to script. So before sending data to server, we will perform some basic validations. So apart from that, we also have seen how JavaScript can be used to create cookies, and we can also detect some browsers, and you can see how it's supported in Google. Also try doing the same program in your Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox, and you can see doing these prompt boxes also. So we have seen how Java and JavaScript are also different, wherein we don't have a data type concept in JavaScript, whereas Java we have different type of data types, but we use a concept concept called as variables. And we have seen how we can differentiate the script. So basically we have three ways wherein we can declare our script tag. One is in our head sessions and the other is in our body session. And apart from that, we have something called as external file JavaScript, which we can call using an attribute called src, and will include src is equal to some of our file. There are some in JavaScript the variables are case sensitive. That is, writing in lowercase and uppercase, both are quite different. Okay, and we have something called as arithmetic. We have seen the different operators. One is arithmetic. So in arithmetic, we have seen addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and apart from that, we have incremented in how each and everything will differ. Like x plus equal to y will stand to x is equal to x plus y. So same goes with other operations too. So another thing is like assignment operator. In assignment, equals to, and we have we have something called as comparison operators, right? So equal to, and we also have one operator wherein we use 3 equals to symbol. That is also called as is equal to. Right? Usually, as I have told you earlier, it will just compare your data type and also the value. So even though your values are same and your data type is wrong, it will definitely return you a false value. And we also have not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than. So I have told you, usually we using ampersand symbol, double ampersand, or not, or symbol, and not. So you know how they perform. Like and will usually give you the, if both the statements are true, then only it will give you the result as true. Wherein it is the reverse instead of or the display possibility. And other thing, we have document.write. So document.write usually it will write into your HTML output. And we have something called as alert. So windows.alert is nothing but it will be displaying a alert box. And one more thing we have seen is console.log. So if you see console.log, it will display your output in browser console. As I mentioned, you have to use Control Shift and J button. So you will have to press your keyboard's Control Shift. So it will display your console. It could be any console. When I'm talking about any cancel, will definitely return the box value as false. And something called as prompt box. In prompt box, usually we will input a value before going to the page. So usually it will also have OK and cancel. But what will happen if you click on cancel? So when you click on cancel, it will definitely return you a null value. That is, value will be 0. Next is prompt box. So, okay, we have seen the example, right? And these are the examples we have, like in addition, we are seeing we can do much more to arithmetic operations. You can try to do this example conditions, like if we have if statement, like if this condition is true, I want to perform this set of operations, then I'll use a if statement. So what if condition is false? So in that case, I will use a if else. And if I want to have multiple conditions checks, so I'll just go with certain n number of if else in my same statements. Okay, and there is also called as this statement. So based on the condition, it will execute the cases. Okay, you can say that block of code only will be executed. So as I told you, the syntax for switch, whenever no statement is true, it will execute a default statement. And we have seen the syntaxes, and you can see here statement we have we can put into alert, we can use document, we can do n number of things to it. So that's all for today's session. I think this is fine for introduction. So we will dwell more into loop statements tomorrow. We will see examples of how while statement. We will see do while loop tomorrow. So that's all for today. Thank you.